Thank you very much. My name is Edmund Yakani. I work as Executive Director of Community Empowerment for Progress Organization, in short known as CEPO, a South Sudanese national NGO focusing around the area of governance and peace in general, including some few engagement around development. With regards to forgiveness, from my own personal feeling and my own personal thought, forgiveness is a process, it's not an event. And forgiveness also, it is a commitment. It is not a gameplay. That means forgiveness requires to demonstrate action. And forgiveness also, for me, it requires a personal obligation and dedication that you have to dedicate your personal commitment and obligation to ensure that others who are outside will see that whatever you're doing is mounted into a forgiveness against somebody whom they don't expect you to work with. They don't expect you to be having a business with, but at least you're having a normal business, you're picking up. That for me forgiveness is. And for me also forgiveness, it is the central root for trust and confidence. You'll never have trust and confidence if you don't forgive each other. Though I know forgiveness by itself does not mean forgetting, that you can forgive but you can't forget. But the reason why you don't forget in terms of forgiveness, in a say, that you keep it as a lesson for other people to learn out of your experience, not to repeat the mistake that you did. So it's not that you use forgiveness in the perspective of forgetting that you keep on repeating and insulting the person, or you keep on being hard on the person, that this is an element that I didn't forget. But for me, forgiveness is really a trust and confidence. So if I trust and have a confidence that we can work together and we can pick a new chapter, I think that for me, it's a forgiveness. I do campaigns. I do engage in campaigns, and most of the campaigns I'm engaging on is campaigns around the same area. I would say throughout my life, I was able to act as a local mediator in over 120 plus communal conflicts that I would do move across the country. I would say South Sudan is composed previously, when we have the 10 states, South Sudan composed of 79 counties. I was able to visit some counties of the country. Out of 79, I was able to visit 78 with only one, and that is all nurturing the culture of forgiveness. It's telling people, forgive each other, stop violence, don't continue fighting. The country requires us to work together. So somehow other assignment I do is building the culture of peace and peaceful coexistence among communities, and one of my pillars is preaching forgiveness. I call myself an activist around the area of respect for human rights, rule of law, and culture of nonviolence, and promotion of what we call peaceful coexistence. It may be by coincidence. In 2017, I received the Global Award for Human Rights Defender of the Year for 2017, which is sort of like a recognition of whatever I've been doing for all throughout my lifetime in campaigning, respect for human rights, forgiveness, peaceful coexistence. So I call myself as an activist. I think the power of this campaign will take us to South Sudan that we want. If this campaign, we're able to commit ourselves and we're able to dedicate our time for it, we're able to have a personal responsibility to make the campaign successful, then the South Sudan that we want through this campaign we can achieve. But if we don't dedicate time, don't dedicate efforts for the campaign, then the South Sudan that we want is very far. For me, in simple terms, is that this campaign brings closer to us the South Sudan that we want. South Sudan with a culture of peaceful coexistence, South Sudan that where we can come together regardless of our differences, regardless of the dispute that we might have undergone in the past. So for me, this campaign is South Sudan that we want. Forgiveness, it has its stages. One stage is first you have to acknowledge the reality. If you are an offender or you are a victim, you have to acknowledge that particular position. After acknowledging the reality, then you need to really enforce the solution to the reality. If the solution is you have to forgive somebody, then you have to forgive someone. That's the reality that you have to move to. And if the reality means you have to accept the mistake, then you have to accept the mistake. That's the reality. So it's a process that you have to undergo all those stages. And you have to acknowledge, you have to enforce, and after that, then you can make sure that, oh, I need to have a new page. So it's a process of opening a new page. And the process of opening a new page is not a very simple process. You know, being from a legal background, in terms of provision of justice, there's a level of offense. There are offenses that it is easy to forgive, and that forgiveness may set a good example to the society. But there are offense that the person, as a way of remedy, somebody have to be held accountable for the mistake they have done. So the offense that somebody have to face justice, because injustice by its nature is impunity. And if I can bring it from that perspective to a local context of South Sudan, specifically, as I said, I've engaged in over 50 plus communal dispute resolutions where forgiveness is a center. What I know from the culture of revenge, communal revenge in South Sudan ethnic groups, is that forgiveness is given an interpretation of surrender if you don't achieve justice. So it means if you forgive somebody without justice, that means you have surrendered to the person. In other way around, you have accepted injustice to continue. And that's why you see the culture of revenge is very high in South Sudan. And at that level, it makes the continuation of injustice with forgiveness without making justice prevail, it gives it very hard to reconcile. Because reconciliation is the last stage of forgiveness. It's that when you forgive, then you can reconcile. But you can't reconcile. And I can't reconcile somebody that I feel this particular person should face the law and justice should prevail. So forgiveness, as you say, is not acceptance of injustice. Forgiveness is making justice to prevail and is also making justice not to be denied. I would say one of a touching exercise for me is I would like to use an example in my youthhood. Close to us here, there's a place called Youth Center, training Kung Fu. I'm a Kung Fu player. So one time in a competition, and Kung Fu have rules and regulations. So one time in a competition, we're doing in Yakani Cultural Center for Kung Fu. One of our colleagues, with the rules and regulations that we have, you're not supposed to hit somebody on the eye, you're not supposed to hit somebody on the kidneys, you're not supposed to hit somebody at lungs or in heart. So one of our colleagues, because we are at a final stage of winning a trophy, but then it was between South Sudan team and Sudan team. So one of our colleagues, who is with me in the team, decided to break the law of Kung Fu and hit one of my best friends in the heart. And this colleague of ours passed away. Now, he is a candidate that we decided he will go in the first leg of the Kung Fu, then I'll come in the second leg. And the intention is that for him to pursue our colleagues who will turn them as opponents, so that it's a question of play with energy. So they play with energy and he demonstrates the energy we have, then we can come and finish up. So we end up losing because we couldn't continue. We have to keep on crying. Now, this colleague of ours, it took us like about 3 months. We don't want to see him in the team. And everybody in the team sort of like, then I start first approaching him. I say, okay, it's something that I've broken the law. It's not something that I feel is not intentionally. I forgive you. Can you come and go to the family of the deceased friend and tell the family, sorry. Only we need from you word, sorry, and seek for forgiveness. So when he tried to move for that, he completely refused. Said, no, I didn't intend to kill him. We're in sports. It's an outcome of sports. So we pursued him for over a year just to say sorry. And that disturbs me so much, that somebody just to say sorry. It took 1 year negotiation. So that developed a different position. So we start seeing him that he is undermining, he feels he's powerful. So what comes to our mind is actually also to take away his life. But when something about taking away his life, they always know nobody has the right to take away life of anybody except God. So we start forgiving him. That for me is a testimony. Right now as I'm speaking, we are friends, we move together, we sit together, we share ideas, we come together, we communicate. But that is after 2 or 3 years of hardships during our youthhood. And you know how beautiful sports are, specifically if you're almost to win a trophy. For me, it comes like a moment. I don't know if you're a fan of football. It comes from a moment like when Cameroonians were able to lose fuel in the playground and they're almost moving to the next stage. So the players have to stop and make condolence. So that's the situation, that's the experience I have. But I think that have taught me a lesson that forgiveness have its own price. And you have to be ready to bear the bitter price of forgiveness by making sure that you have to accept the reality. My message for the campaign, Power to Forgive, in a very simple, honest, and sincere way, is we must change our hearts. This campaign will help us change our hearts from having a bitter heart to having a national heart. And this campaign, Power to Forgive, is the only pathway that will take us to the South Sudan that we're yawning since 1955 by shooting a bullet, repeating 1983. If we want to live in South Sudan with no more bullets, only with ballots, that will bring politicians to power. It is the Power to Forgive campaign.
True stories that can change your life. Real stories of real people who have gone through the most difficult circumstances in their lives, but they have experienced the power to forgive.
Gisas hagigia baggergeru hayataki gisat tanas hagigiin umon mororo fi zuruf sab o hawadis tahaya lakini umon wedi shuhuda legua tamusamaha. If you'd like to get a free copy of the book and audio device, Power to Forgive, you can call this toll-free number, 2222. Call now and get your free copy.
Kani tadar ligo kitabu jihaz sauti guata musamaha itabagdar dugu telefon fi nimrade 22 اتصال ده مجاني itama bidafa gurush fogo kelita dugu telefon hasade wita biligo hadiya take.